Folks, hello and welcome to Tavern Chat. I'm your host, Eric Tenkar, your bartender in the OSR, and there's a bit of I don't know what you want to call it, an issue, a situation that's being spoken on in the community right now, and it's basically that Venger has been banned by Misty Mountain Game Store, or it's some local game store in Madison, and it's because of Child, his sex crawl, supposedly, and he's rightfully upset because apparently he didn't have an issue with it before. But and I've seen other takes on it, and the other takes are certainly valid, and I understand V's thoughts on the matter, and V's thoughts are certainly valid. But when you're gaming in public, that key word there is public, right? When I run, when I game, whether it's if I game like in my house or in somebody's house, or if we're gaming online, right, in a private group of people that's well established, um, not being recorded, because God forbid we recorded one of those sessions. We play differently, okay? When I gamed out in Long Island and we had a private room that was a door that got closed and we could game, it was different from when the location that we gamed at moved locations to a smaller store without the private room, and we had to game in the public space. It changed the way one gamed. Honestly, I mean, the jokes you might tell, the bullshit you might say, the crap you might talk changes when you're out there in public, or I should say, it should change. What you might say amongst consenting adults will be different, or should be different, when you're saying this in a situation where, I don't know, preteens might be listening in. They don't need to hear, you know, about how your party is going to burn the kobolds alive on, oh, I don't know, a mine cart with burning oil and just push it down and let it go, right? It might not be what you want to share in public. So I understand V's disappointment and being told you cannot no longer run your setting, your alt at the local game store. However, if I was the local game store and I was having, again, my customer base could range from, I don't know, 8, 10 to 80. I need to keep that environment safe for the younger generation. Again, I understand. And it isn't like this is, oh, well, this is, I'm not saying it's being claimed by anybody, but this is this is like almost a violation of some of our constitutional rights. This is censorship. And that's not censorship. Okay. When you are doing things in a public space, what you might get away with in private, right? You don't get away with in public, because in public you have to conform to the lowest common denominator. That juvenile that may be there to witness whatever it is that you are doing, um, that becomes the lowest common denominator. Again, if you want to run games that are adult in nature, then you should probably only be running that stuff in a situation where there's only adults around. Put another way, when I run games at conventions, especially when I look around and I see that I have teens or preteens in the group, and I go, listen, before we start this, just to let you know, um, Kanekar is a potty mouth. Okay, uh, it's likely that there will be situations that I'm going to talk about that I'm going to use adult language, which I would also subtitle as immature language, right? Because adult language is definitely not mature. And if you have an issue with that, let me know now. I will do my best to police myself to make sure that I conform to the expected social norms. It's never been asked of me, but I would do it if requested. And that's just language, okay? When you talk situations, when you go beyond just a few words here and there and you start setting up situations that might be on a level with, I don't know, Fast Times at Ridgemont High or Porky's, these situations are things that likely you will have an audience. If it isn't your immediate group who knows what they've signed up for, you have an audience playing in a public place that's going to listen and they're going to react. And in a retail environment, you can't afford that as the retailer, right? You don't want to lose customers. Oh my God, you couldn't believe. I can't believe it. This table was talking about what you were holy. Oh my God, I gotta go to my priest and I gotta get absolution because I think I committed a sin just by listening. You don't want that. As a gamer, you have to understand that. Okay, there's a public place, there's a private space. The public place or the public space, there's limits to what you can do. Now, I understand that V has put up a recent video. Not going to go into details of it, but he believes there's more to it than the simple content of what he runs. It could be. But you know what? To be honest with you, given a choice, I'd rather run a game online in my private place or private space than run it in a game store out in the open, no side room, in public. I don't want that shit. Nothing good's going to come of that. Even if it isn't, you got to hold back with what you're running. You're going to get the horrible individual who can't latch on to any other group, but they want to latch on to yours. And I understand that shit happens, but no, there's nothing good that's going to come from that. Gaming in public has restrictions. Gaming in private has much fewer. Just my thoughts on the matter. All right, folks, on that note, tomorrow, Glenn and I, Dungeons, Dragons, and Discourse. Should be a good live stream. 8 p.m. Eastern. Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern, Gamers Health. There's some updates for Rach and myself. I have not discussed yet, but it's been an interesting week, to say the least. Other than that, we're still in the midst of the world of COVID. What does that mean? It means, please, I beg of you, use your common sense. All right, things are getting better. Let's keep them getting better. Be safe, be well, God bless. Roll those dice, roll them well, and I'll be back again tomorrow. Live stream, 8 p.m. Be there, be square.